We tried to get involved with Driving Change because we recognised that young adult carers are one of the most vulnerable groups in education.
We began to realise that there is a group of students potentially in the college who are coming here and who have extra pressures and difficulties to deal with within their personal lives, which can have a real impact on their ability to study within the college.
It was something that we had thought about because beforehand we never had any set specific targeted support for young adult carers. So we thought if we got on board, then it would be something that we could explore and hopefully put support in place. And we were hoping that we could put together a young adult care support group so that we could get feedback from current young adult carers at that time.
So we wanted to get involved to try and make sure that not only did we get our accreditation, we could also make sure that we were supporting young adult carers on an ongoing basis, making sure that what they were facing and the responsibilities that they had weren't going to hinder their ability to access college, complete their courses, and ultimately just kind of hinder them.
It has become ingrained in everything that we do, which I think has become a real positive.
We became so much more aware of the difficulties that young adult carers face.
So as part of the project, we worked collaboratively across the college. And I think the real benefit of that is that we could look at the different areas that student may need to access.
So one of the key things was extra time. If they had something going on at home maybe and they couldn't reach deadlines, so as part of their support plan we could include in it that they would be granted extra time with assignments.
So a big one was obviously financial support. From a curriculum perspective, what reasonable adjustments we could put in place.
I contact every student that has caring responsibilities to say, here I am, here's the kind of things I can help with, and if I can't help with, I can introduce you to agencies or third parties that may be able to help you.
We now have a young adult carer student ambassador. She sits on our student union and she's kind of the student face for us. She works directly with me. And we knew that some young adult carers may not be comfortable coming to a member of staff, particularly one they didn't know. So we figured that it would probably be easier for a lot of them if they could go through a student themselves.
We looked at it from a staff training point of view because we wanted every staff member to understand what it really meant to have a young adult carer in their class and what they needed to do. From a more practical sense is we have evaluated our financial support. So our young adult carers do receive the bursary, and we've also lowered an attendance percentage to allow them to receive that bursary.
We've also implemented what we call a young adult carers exemption card, and it's become a non-verbal cue for them to explain to a tutor or a member of staff why they might need something. So say they need to leave the classroom because they need to make a phone call. It's given the college a chance to make those reasonable adjustments.
I think previously we would often make decisions what we felt was best for the student, but it really allowed those students to have that voice and allow us to see our body of students as individuals and support them in the ways that they need and the ways that they feel that they need, not what we feel that they need.
It's them knowing that we have the mechanism in place to help them, instead of them just going through the whole academic year with being out somewhat of a hidden statistic. They are, a value member of our community here.
So I think having a named person at each campus is an excellent idea because you put yourself in that person's shoes. Do you want to explain your situation over and over and over again?
They had said just knowing that they could come and speak to us if there is an issue rather than them worrying and stressing and maybe thinking about withdrawing from their course rather than saying this is what's going on and can anybody help me with it?
There's a mechanism there's a process there where they can come forward in a confidential way and speak to staff, whereas before we only really became known about young people when there was an issue or there was a concern and we were at a point of crisis really, whereas the advantage of this is that this conversation begins in the first week of September rather than down the line.